Good morning. In this class, we will study about colligative properties. What are colligative properties? We will solve a few problems based on colligative properties asked in CSIR. Okay, now what are colligative properties? Colligative properties are properties of solutions. Properties of solutions that depend on the number of particles of solute. That depend only on the number of particles and not on the nature of the solute. On the nature of the solute, that is independent of the nature of the solute. These are applicable. Colligative properties are applicable for only dilute solutions. Only for dilute solutions or ideal solutions. What are the different types of colligative properties? There are 4 types of colligative properties you have studied. Lowering of vapor pressure, elevation of boiling point, depression of freezing point, and osmotic pressure. Okay, now we will study one by one. Let us first study lowering of vapor pressure. Okay, now let us understand what is vapor pressure. For example, you take in a vessel pure liquid, for example, pure solvent or water, benzene or hexane. Any solvent, you take any solvent. For example, let us take water in this vessel. Okay, it is connected to manometer to measure the pressure, to measure the what is the pressure inside. For example, when you take water, pure water, there won't be any vapors first. In the beginning, T equal to 0, there won't be any vapors because after some time, the molecules which are having kinetic energy, greater kinetic energy, they will escape. The molecules, especially at the surface, which are having higher kinetic energy because of temperature, high temperature, it will escape. Okay, so after some time, the rate of evaporation, this is something called rate of evaporation, is increasing. After some time, the molecules, more molecules will be there, therefore they will collide with each other. These molecules, the vapor molecules will collide with each other, and also on the walls of they also collide on the surface of the liquid. They will condense. As a result, they will condense. Therefore, the rate of, this is an equilibrium process. For example, liquid to solid. So this is an equilibrium, liquid to vapor. Liquid to vapor. Liquid to vapor. Okay, now this is an equilibrium process. At equilibrium, after some time, the pressure is constant. The pressure remains constant. The difference in the mercury level, this is mercury. The difference in the mercury level gives the pressure inside this. Okay, now what is evaporation? Evaporation, what is the difference between evaporation and the boiling point? Evaporation takes place at any temperature. For example, if you take water in a beaker, evaporation will take place. Water will go off because it has kinetic energy at room temperature or at high temperature. In summer, for example, the temperature is very high. The molecules will have more kinetic energy. As a result, it will come out of attractive force and it will escape, and it is converted into vapor. This is a phase transition. Liquid phase is converted into vapor phase. Okay. So this is now the vapor pressure. So for example, if you consider the pressure is P1 naught. Okay. This is the vapor pressure, saturated vapor pressure at particular temperature T1. For example, the temperature is fixed. Here. Now, when you add, for example, to this, you add solute, non-volatile solute. For example, glucose, urea, or any other solute you want to add, you add to it. Now, what happens is, as you see, the number of water vapors are less. The number of water vapor molecules are less. Why they are less? The vapor pressure is less. For example, the vapor pressure now is P. Okay, P1. Okay, this is the vapor pressure, saturated vapor pressure for pure solvent. This is the vapor pressure of the solution. This is the vapor pressure of the P1 is the vapor pressure of the solution. Okay. Now there is a lowering of vapor pressure. Why there is a lowering of vapor pressure? The vapor pressure, that is the lowering of vapor pressure, is P1 naught minus P. That is equal to delta P. This is called lowering of vapor pressure. Why there is a lowering of vapor pressure? For example, you see, when you dissolve non-volatile solute, they also occupy, as I said, evaporation is a surface phenomenon. Evaporation is a surface phenomenon. As you see, they occupy the surface and also inside. It will also be inside at the surface. Therefore, the molecules cannot escape. The solvent molecules cannot, the water molecule cannot escape. As a result, the vapor pressure decreases. So, the decrease in vapor pressure, the relative, according to Raoult's law, Raoult studied the decrease in vapor pressure with increase in the modality of the increase in the concentration of the non-volatile solute, and he proposed this one. The relative lowering of vapor pressure is equal to the mole fraction of the solute. The relative lowering of vapor pressure is equal to the mole fraction of the solute. He has shown by his experiments, by doing several experiments. Now, as I said, what is evaporation? Evaporation occurs at all temperatures. What is boiling point? Boiling temperature. Boiling point is the temperature at which the vapor pressure is equal to the atmospheric pressure. Okay, at boiling point, remember, the vapor pressure above the liquid, therefore at boiling point only the boiling process takes place, whereas evaporation takes place at all temperature. Now evaporation depends upon, therefore, atmospheric pressure. Okay, now evaporation depends upon several factors. One, temperature. If you increase the temperature, the vapors will be more, vapor pressure will be high. If you decrease the temperature, the vapor pressure will be low. Okay, it depends upon the temperature. And also when you increase the temperature, the kinetic energy increases. The internal energy, that is kinetic energy, rotation energy, translation energy increases. Therefore, the molecules escape from the liquid and converted into vapor. Okay. Now, it also depends upon the surface area. For example, surface area. If you have a cup of water, it will take long time to evaporate. You pour it on the floor, it will evaporate in 5 minutes, or it will take one day or 2 days if you keep it in water. Therefore, it depends upon the surface area, and also it also depends on the pressure. For example, if you have pressure, other gas, because of the pressure, the molecules cannot escape. Therefore, the vapor pressure will decrease because of the pressure. And also, when suppose you take the vapor away, and according to Le-Chatelier-Brown principle, what will happen to when the equilibrium is disturbed? Therefore, more water will be evaporated to keep the equilibrium constant. Rate of evaporation equal to rate of condensation. Rate of evaporation is equal to rate of condensation. Therefore, in order to, this is like blowing wind. When wind is blown, the vapors will carry away more evaporation. Evaporation will take place. That is a drying of cloth. We dry cloth in the air outside, so that there will be circulation of air. Therefore, it will be very easily, very quickly dried. Okay, now let us derive this expression. According to Raoult's law, in the previous video we have studied Raoult's law. That is P1 equal to x1 P1 naught. Okay, this is the actual Raoult expression, Raoult's law. Okay. Now you know that there are two components. There are two components in this solution. One is solute, non-volatile solute, and the solvent. Okay, solute is x1. The mole fraction of the solvent. The mole fraction of the solvent is x1. Okay, and the mole fraction of the solute is x2. That is equal to 1. The total mole fraction is equal to 1. Because the fraction, when you add all the fraction, you will get 1. Therefore, this is equal to mole fraction of solvent. This is mole fraction of solute equal to 1. The total mole fraction is always 1. Okay, now x2 equal to, what is x2? x2 equal to 1 minus x1. Okay, therefore you substitute in this expression 1. Okay, what will you get? P1 1 x1 equal to x2. Okay, Therefore, you substitute in this expression 1 minus x2 p1 naught. Okay. Therefore, you multiply p1 naught minus x2 p1 naught. Okay. So you now you take this one p1, you bring this one here and this here. Therefore, p1 naught minus p1 equal to x2. Okay, x2 p1 naught, just the p1 naught will bring it down. So this is the another form of Raoult's law. This is the same. The two expressions are same. The two expressions are same. Okay, this is the actual form of Raoult's law, and this is the Raoult's law in terms of mole fraction of the non-volatile solute. Therefore, the relative lowering of vapor pressure is equal to the mole fraction of the solute. Okay. Now, as I said, this is an equilibrium process. This is an equilibrium process. You have studied Van isotherm. Log, what you have studied, log K1, K2 divided by K1 equal to delta H divided by R 1 by T1 minus 1 by T2. So this is for chemical equilibrium. This is the chemical equilibrium. K1 is the forward rate constant. K2 is the reverse rate constant. Okay, for equilibrium process, and this is the enthalpy of the reaction. Okay, T1 is the initial temperature. At temperature T1, what is the rate constant, and what is the T2, what is the rate constant, equilibrium constant. That is equilibrium constant. This is the equilibrium. At T1 is K1 is the equilibrium constant, T2. Okay. Similarly here, the rate of evaporation depends on the temperature and the pressure. Therefore, we can write, for example, dP, the rate of evaporation with respect to temperature. The rate of evaporation with respect to temperature is given by delta H V divided by T V gas Vl. This is the expression derived from thermodynamics. That is, the rate of evaporation with respect to temperature is equal to the enthalpy of molar enthalpy of vaporization. Molar enthalpy, 1 molar. What is molar enthalpy of evaporation? Vaporization. It is the heat supplied to evaporate 1 mole of water, 1 mole of liquid at a particular temperature. Okay, in the temperature range. So it depends upon the temperature, and now this is the temperature, and Vg is the volume of the vapor, volume of 1 mole of vapor, vapor at temperature T, and this is volume of the liquid at the same temperature, volume of the liquid, for example, volume of the water vapor, volume of the liquid, 1 mole of liquid at temperature T. Okay, now on substituting, for example, P is equal to RT, nRT, or you can say, therefore V, instead of V, you can write RT by. Okay, this is an equilibrium process. Similar to chemical equilibrium. For chemical equilibrium, Van Hoff equation you have studied, log K2 by K1 equal to delta H by R. Similarly, for liquid vapor equilibrium, Clausius-Clapeyron has derived an expression for this equilibrium, that is log P2 by P1 equal to delta Hv, enthalpy of vaporization, divided by R, molar gas constant, divided by a temperature T1 and divided by T2. Okay. So what is this equation is called Clausius-Clapeyron equation. This is used for liquid vapor equilibrium, as well as you can also it is also used for solid liquid equilibrium. For example, freezing point. During freezing point or during melting, solid is in equilibrium. Solid is in equilibrium with liquid. In that case, the same expression is used, log P2 by, this is delta H F, delta H latent heat of fusion, latent heat of fusion. Therefore, similarly you can use latent heat of vaporization. This is the enthalpy of fusion. Okay. So how he derived Clausius Clapeyron? He has used thermodynamics. The rate of, for example, what is P1? P1 is the vapor pressure. P1 is the vapor pressure at T1. For example, vapor pressure of the solution or vapor pressure of the solvent. In this case, if we take solvent, vapor pressure at temperature T1, the vapor pressure is the observed vapor pressure using manometer. At temperature T2, now you increase the temperature or decrease the temperature, then you find out the P2. Therefore, you can calculate. Suppose this is the common expression. For example, Arrhenius equation. In Arrhenius also, log K2 by K1 equal to EA, activation energy divided by R1 by T1 by 1 by T2. This is a common equation. Many problems were asked based on this equation. Kindly try to solve as many problems as possible, because for example, you are given P1, P2, T1, T2. You will be asked what is the enthalpy of vaporization, or you will be given enthalpy of vaporization and P1, T1, T2. You will be asked to find out what is the vapor pressure at temperature T2. Okay, you will be given vapor pressure at T1. Okay, similarly, all sorts of questions are similar. This equation, Clausius-Clapeyron equation, is an important equation. Is obtained from this expression, dP by dt. The rate of evaporation is directly proportional to enthalpy of vaporization divided by T Vg minus Vl. As I said, volume of the vapor, volume of the water vapor, 1 mole of water vapor at that temperature, and this is volume of the liquid water at this temperature. Therefore, this type of, they are also asked the dP by dt, the rate of evaporation or temperature dependence. Temperature dependence, the variation of vapor pressure. The temperature dependence of vapor pressure with respect to temperature. This expression is often asked. Okay, now similarly, as I said, for solid liquid equilibrium, this can also be applied for any other equilibrium process. Such type of equations can be applied. Now, let us solve a problem. 2 moles of, as in CSIR 2011, 2 moles of non-volatile solute is dissolved in 48 moles of water. 2 moles of non-volatile solute is dissolved in 48 moles of water. The resultant solution has vapor pressure of 0.0392 bar at 27 degrees Celsius. If the vapor pressure of pure water at 27 degrees Celsius is, for example, this is the same problem. Say you have P1, they are given, what is given is, now what are given, write down, this is based on Raoult's law, this problem is based on Raoult's law. Okay, first they have given number of moles of non-volatile solute. Therefore, let us say N1 equal to 2 and N2 equal to, for example, N1 here the number of moles of non-volatile solute is N2. Okay, so N1 equal to 48. Right, now we can calculate the mole fraction. Since they are given, mole fraction can be calculated. Now what are given? Other given, the vapor pressure of pure water. See, the vapor pressure of pure water, saturated vapor pressure, that is P1 naught. P1 naught is given. Okay, so that is equal to P1 naught equal to 0.04 bar. Okay, and P1 in the solution, they added 2 moles of non-volatile solute. Therefore, the vapor pressure decreases. You see, the vapor pressure is decreased 0.392. Okay. Now, what is according to Raoult's law? Let us use Raoult's law itself. P1 equal to x1 equal to naught. Okay. So this is activity. Actually, this is for ideal solution. For ideal solution. Okay, this is not ideal. This is not ideal because they have asked activity coefficient. If it is, for example, okay, if x1 equal to 1, if x1 equal to 1, then P1 equal to P1, Px mole fraction. There is no solute for ideal solution. There is no solute. Then P1 equal to x1 equal to 1. Therefore, P1 not equal to P1. Now, the activity of water, is equal to nothing but P1 not P1. So this is the activity of water is nothing but the ratio of vapor pressure at that temperature, and saturated vapor pressure of the pure liquid. This is for solution, and this is for pure solvent. This is again nothing but relative humidity. This is nothing but activity of water. This is nothing but relative humidity. Now let us see this. You can calculate. Okay. Now you can substitute P1 and this one. You can calculate this to be 0.8. Okay. Now the activity, for example, what is activity of water? Activity of water is directly proportional to the mole fraction of the water in the solution. Okay, mole fraction of the solution. And suppose if it is ideal solution, for ideal solution or dilute solution, we say for ideal solution or dilute solution, A activity of water is equal to its concentration. For example, you are studying in chemical equilibrium. The activity is nothing but concentration when the solutions are ideal, when the solutions are ideal. Therefore, for ideal it is okay x A, but it is not ideal. For non-ideal cases, Raoult's law is not obeyed. Non-ideal. For non-ideal cases, therefore gamma H2. This is known as activity coefficient. Suppose if for dilute solution, for example, ideal solution or dilute solution, gamma is equal to 1. Therefore, activity is equal to mole fraction of water. Mole fraction of water. But they have asked here, since it is a non-ideal solution, it does not obey Raoult's law. Therefore, gamma H2O equal to activity of water. We have already calculated mole fraction of H2O. So, mole fraction of H2O is the activity 0.98 divided by mole. What is this one? Is nothing but N water divided by you can bring it up. Therefore, water plus non-volatile solute. That is the non-volatile solute. Okay. So they have given now. They have given 2 moles solute non-volatile and 48 moles, and you can calculate this, and if you calculate this 1.0, okay, activity coefficient of activity. The activity, for example, in the humidity, for example, humidity is the water vapor pressure at that temperature. Okay, similarly, the activity of the water is here, the activity of water is decreased. The activity of water is decreased because of non-ideal solution. Okay, now similarly, you can calculate here X2 is equal to N2 plus N1 plus N2. N1 plus N2. This is the mole fraction of this solute. Now, for dilute solution, N2, for very dilute solution, N2 is very, very small. For example, this is 1000, this is 1. So 1000 plus 1, 1000 and 1000. Therefore, this can be neglected. You can neglect this. And again, as we said, N2 equal to, what is N2? Okay, what is N2? N2 is equal to W2 by M2. And N2 is the number of moles of solute is equal to weight by molecular mass, weight of the solute divided by non-molecular mass of the solute. You substitute here. Similarly, N1 equal to W1 by M1 molecular mass of the solute. Therefore, you can substitute here. Therefore, you can bring it W2, M2. We can calculate the molecular weight, but from the relative lowering of vapor pressure, what is the importance of, what is the application, main application of conjugative properties? We can determine the molar mass of the substance, molar mass of the non-volatile solute. And also we can calculate the vapor pressure, mole fraction. If you know the molar mass, we can calculate the vapor pressure, what is the relative, what is the lowering of vapor pressure, we can calculate. So there are several, and also it is applicable only for solute which does not undergo association or dissociation. This lowering of vapor pressure is only applicable for solutes which does not undergo association and dissociation. Thank you for watching. We continue.